We're talking about solving absolute value equations. And when doing that, the first thing we have to do is we have to get the absolute value by itself. So the first thing we have to do is subtract 3 from both sides. And then those cancel out, and we're left with the absolute value of 8 plus y is equal to 2y minus 3. Now, in order to get rid of the absolute value, we have to solve for when 8 plus y is positive, and we also have to solve for when 8 plus y could possibly be negative. So the positive version will be over here on the left. And to solve for when 8 plus y is positive, we just leave the right side alone. So we'll say this as 8 plus y is equal to 2y minus 3. Then we also have to solve for the possibility of the solution being negative. And in that case, when the solution is negative, we have to negate the right side of the equation, or the side opposite the absolute value. So we'll leave the left side alone, 8 plus y, and now we're going to check for if 8 plus y would possibly be a negative solution. And then we can just go through and solve these two equations. So the first thing we do is subtract 2y. Let's subtract y. And then we get 8 is equal to y minus 3. And then we can add 3. And then we get 11 is equal to y. So then we have to check for a possible solution. And when we check that, all we do is we substitute 11 back into the original equation. And so we have the absolute value of 8 plus 11 plus 3 is equal to 2 times 11. 2 times 11, that's 22. 8 plus 11 is 19. And 19 plus 3 is 22. And so this does check. So 11 is a solution. The next one that we can work on is we have to check to see if the negative, if there's a negative value that will work there. So we have to distribute a negative sign to both terms inside the parentheses. So we get 8 plus y is equal to negative 2y plus 3. And then we can add 2y to both sides. And then we get 8 plus 3y is equal to 3. And we can subtract 8. And then we get 3y is equal to negative 5. And then we can divide by 3. And then we get y to negative 5/3. So now we have to check to see if that's a possible solution. We know that 11 is, and we can check to see if negative 5/3 is. So we're going to just substitute it back in. So we get the absolute value of 8 minus 5/3 plus 3. And we're checking to see if that's correct. And then 2 times negative 5/3. So the next one we get 8 minus 5/3, so thirds, so that's going to be 24 thirds for the 8. If we take 24 divided by 3, we get 8. So 24 minus 5 is 19. 19 thirds, absolute value plus 3. Still checking to see if that's correct. And 2 times negative 5 is going to be negative 10 thirds. And if we have absolute value of 19 thirds plus, this would be equivalent of 9 thirds. I'm just going to circle this over here so we know that it's not part of the equation, but just 3 is equal to 9 thirds, or 9 thirds is equal to 3. 9 plus 19, that's equal to 28 thirds. And so these two are not equal. And so 5 thirds is not a solution. So the only solution for this equation will be the set of just 11. So the solution for this one would be the set containing just 11. All right, next one we come to is the absolute value of a plus 12 minus 5 is equal to 28. And that's going to be the same thing. We have to get the absolute value by itself. So the first thing we do is we add 5 to both sides. And we get the absolute value of a plus 12 is equal to 33. And then now we have the absolute value by itself, so now we have to check for a positive. And then we also have to check for the negative solution. So a plus 12 is positive. We just leave the right side alone. So we just write it a plus 12 is equal to 33. And then we can subtract 12 from both sides. And we get a is equal to 21. Checking for the negative solution. So we have to change the right side to negative. So we have a plus 12 is equal to negative 33. Subtract 12. And then we get a is equal to negative 45. And then we have to check both solutions. So we can check 21 first. So if a is equal to 21, we're going to say plus 12 minus 5 is equal to 28. And we're checking that solution, so we want to put a question mark there because we're not 100% sure that that's going to be true. And so 21 plus 12 is 33. Minus 5, that is equal to 28. So that is a solution. And then we can check when a is negative 45. So absolute value of negative 45 plus 12 minus 5, is that equal to 28? Negative 45 plus 12, that's absolute value of negative 33 minus 5, is that equal to 28? And then absolute value of negative 33 is 33 minus 5, and that is equal to 28. So those are both solutions. So our solution set is the set of -45 and 21.